Montez Robertson, and this is a Christian Minute, where I attempt to take a relevant topic in today's Christian experience and either confirm it or argue it in a biblical context. Today, the issue and focus is the prosperity gospel. This is a very annoying thing to me. I did spend a number of years fooled and bamboozled by the entire process of the prosperity gospel. But when God began to lead me and show me in His Word and put me around more mature Christians, I was able to see the flaws, the lies, and the foolishness that coincide with the prosperity gospel. This idea that the Christian life and the Christian experience is supposed to be full of happy days and sunshine and rainbows, that we shouldn't suffer or go through anything, and the idea that if we do go through something, somehow mean God doesn't love us, or that He has an ought with us or an issue with us, or we didn't give enough money for some reason. Those are all lies that the enemy has created to somehow make God seem unfair or unjust. But God is a sovereign God, and He already informed us in the scriptures that we would have issues in this world, in this life, and this life is temporary, and that our focus should be on doing the work of God, spreading the gospel, and looking on to Christ's return, not being engulfed and driven by worldly pleasures and worldly desires and worldly gain. And what I want to do is take you to the scriptures today and hopefully be able to compact really quickly and show you some of the areas and the flaws and the issues with the entire idea of the prosperity gospel. What I want to do here is go to, let's see here, we have 1 Peter. We're looking at 1 Peter 4 and 12. Okay, so this is 1 Peter 4 and 12, and it's talking about suffering for Christ. And in this letter it says, "My dear friends, do not be taken back." Don't be caught off guard. Don't be confused or confounded by this. It says, "Do not be taken back at the testing by fire which is taking place among you, as though something strange were happening to you, but in so far as you share in the sufferings of Christ." He says, "Be glad." So this is Him telling you, look, don't be caught off guard. Don't think it's strange. Don't think it's odd that you're suffering for Christ, but be glad about it. It says, so that you may enjoy a much greater gladness when His glory is revealed. It says, if you are insulted for being Christ's name, blessed are you. So if you bear Christ's name, if you are associated with the gospel, and you go through and you are insulted for it, then blessed are you, because Christ went through just as equally. It says, for on you rests the Spirit of God, the Spirit of glory. The Spirit of glory. And it says, none of you should ever deserve to suffer for being a murderer, a thief, a criminal, or an informer. But if any one of you should suffer for being a Christian, then there must be no shame but thanksgiving to God for bearing His name. I mean, you sum it up right there. This Christian experience, there is going to be hardship, there's going to be pain, there's going to be persecution, there's going to be insult, just for saying, I want to serve God, just for saying, I want to truly progress and have aspirations about the things of God, the knowledge of God, the truth of God. I want to honestly and sincerely share the message of God. You are going to be attacked for those. Life is going to have issues and obstacles, but Christ said, fear not, for He had overcome the world. So don't think it's strange that we go through things as Christians. And this idea that the prosperity gospel, if you sow a seed, you get a special blessing. If the prophet says something to you, then you get something special out of it. But we as Christians in America especially are fooled, because you have Christians in Africa and different diverse parts of the world who are being persecuted, who are being murdered, who are dying of martyrdom just for the sake of being a Christian. And I won't get into those individuals who are doing it, who are persecuting. But what I want to say is that every Christian who becomes a Christian doesn't become wealthy, doesn't become famous, doesn't become this superstar Christian because you sow a certain amount of money, or you give T.D. Jakes some money, or whoever some money, means that all of a sudden all of your worries are going to go away. But the idea of the individuals that follow behind this, really their pursuit is the gains of this world. And they don't honestly understand that the pursuit is the gain of this world. And I want to take you over to John, what's that? John 15, verse 18. Starting at verse 18, it says, if the world hates you, you must realize that it hated me before it hated you. And this is Christ talking. It says, if you belong to the world would love you as its own. So when the world celebrate people and they celebrate these athletes and actors and actresses and singers and rappers, and it celebrates them, of course it will, because it's its own. So when you see all of these pastors being celebrated and lifted up by the world, you might want to raise an eyebrow with that. Because this says, if you belong to the world will love you as its own. Not because you do not belong to the world, but because you do not belong to the world, because my choice of you has drawn you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. So when you have Christians that stand up or post statuses on Facebook and say that's wrong, that's not right, that's incorrect, I mean, come on. How is it that you're being rebuked for saying that someone giving a certain amount of money for a blessing is wrong? It's foolishness. How can you buy God's favor? How can you buy God's attention? How can you buy that when Christ already went on the cross for everything? For the complete process of salvation, you somehow think if you give a certain amount of money that you're going to get something? That God is going to look at you and go, oh, well, you gave X amount of dollars, so let me do more for you than for another individual, but all in worldly possession. All in more and more money, all in bigger houses, all in bigger cars, all in better clothes. No, that's foolishness. Those are the things of the world. So when you have these pastors that are being lifted up by the world, and they're preaching this doctrine that allows you to get more things from this world, question it. Question it. When you see these pastors on TV shows that are promoted through worldly agendas and by worldly individuals, and that person's just, yeah, I really love that guy, I really love this person, they're doing a great job. Question it, because I guarantee you behind that it's some worldly concepts and some worldly pursuits that this individual is going after. And lastly, I want to take you to 1 Peter. We have 1 Peter starting at 1 John, my apologies, 1 John, 2nd chapter, let's start at verse 15. It says, do not love the world or what is in the world. If anyone does love the world, the love of the Father finds no place in him. Because everything there is in the world, which is the disorders of bodily desires, the disorder of desires of the eye, and the pride of life. So we have the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. It says, is not from the Father, but it is from the world. And the world with all its disorders, desires, is passing by, is temporary. It says, but whoever does the will of the Father remains forever. So when they're talking to you about, oh, money, cars, and houses, and bigger this and better that, all of those things do is they satisfy the flesh, they satisfy the eye, and they puff you up in the pride of life. That you somehow think because you have a bigger car, a more expensive car, or a better house, that makes you greater in the sight of God. And that's foolishness. I want to remind you, brothers and sisters, that we are brought here to do a work, to do a duty, to share the gospel. That is our life's purpose. And everything else, any good day that you can come up to where you don't have to have type of catastrophic issue, God is merciful and God is kind. And yes, he will take care of his people. But our pursuit in life should not be gaining more worldly possessions. It should be, how can we help bring the gospel so that the Father can be glorified and gain more souls for the kingdom? Well, that's it. I thank you for your time and have a blessed day.